Picture this. You're aboard a starship hurtling through the cosmos at light speed when suddenly your navigation system fails. The crew panics. The ship drifts into unknown territory. But what if I told you that this crisis could be the greatest opportunity your crew has ever encountered? Welcome to a journey through the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, where we'll discover how the greatest philosophers of Rome viewed problems not as roadblocks, but as cosmic doorways to growth. Today we'll explore how Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca would have navigated the challenges of interstellar travel, and how their timeless principles can transform your modern-day crises into launch pads for success. Buckle up, space cadets. We're about to discover why every problem is just a disguised opportunity waiting to be unwrapped. Chapter 2: The Stoic Space Station. Imagine a massive space station orbiting Earth in the year 180 AD. But instead of being filled with advanced technology, it houses the greatest Stoic philosophers in transparent meditation pods, their minds connected to a vast neural network of wisdom. Emperor Marcus Aurelius floats in the central pod, his meditations now literally streaming through fiber optic cables to every corner of the galaxy. The impediment to action advances action. His voice echoes through the station's corridors. What stands in the way becomes the way. This isn't just poetry floating in space, it's a fundamental law of physics in the Stoic universe. When a meteorite strikes our station's hull, instead of causing panic, the impact triggers an automatic response system. The breach becomes a new ventilation system. The damaged section transforms into a greenhouse. The crisis literally reconstructs itself into an opportunity. But how does this cosmic philosophy work in practice? Let's dive deeper into the Stoic operating system. Chapter 3: The Three Pillars of Cosmic Stoicism. In our space station's central computer, three massive crystalline pillars power the entire Stoic operating system. Each pillar represents a core principle that transforms problems into opportunities. The first pillar glows with blue energy. This is the pillar of perception. Epictetus, the former slave-turned-philosopher, materializes beside it in a holographic form. It's not what happens to you, his voice resonates, but how you react to it that matters. Watch this demonstration. Two identical crew members face the same system failure. Crew member A sees disaster, their vital signs spike, stress hormones flood their system, and they freeze. Crew member B, running on Stoic software, sees the same failure and immediately thinks, "Excellent, now I can practice problem solving under pressure." The second pillar pulses with golden light, the pillar of control. Marcus Aurelius appears, pointing to a holographic diagram that looks like a cosmic yin-yang symbol. Some things are within our power, he explains, while others are not. The diagram shows two distinct zones: the inner universe, your thoughts, decisions, and responses, bathed in controllable golden light. The outer universe, other people, natural disasters, market crashes, alien invasions, swirls in uncontrollable silver energy. The secret? Spend 100% of your energy on the golden zone, 0 on the silver. The third pillar burns with crimson energy, the pillar of virtue. Seneca steps forward, surrounded by floating symbols representing the 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, he says, gesturing to a phoenix made of pure energy that rises from digital ashes. Here's where it gets fascinating. In crisis, these virtues don't just survive, they multiply exponentially. Courage under pressure grows stronger than courage in comfort. Wisdom gained through hardship burns brighter than wisdom from books. Justice practiced when it's difficult carries more weight than justice when it's easy. Chapter 4: The Crisis Transformation Engine. Deep in the heart of our Stoic space station lies the most remarkable invention in human history: the Crisis Transformation Engine. This quantum device doesn't eliminate problems. It alchemically converts them into pure opportunity. Watch how it works. A financial crisis enters the left chamber as dark, chaotic energy. The engine applies the three pillars simultaneously. First, perception filters out the emotional static, revealing the problem's true structure. Then, control separates what can be influenced from what cannot. Finally, virtue infuses the remaining challenge with purpose. What emerges from the right chamber? Pure growth energy. The financial crisis has become an opportunity to learn resourcefulness, to strengthen relationships, to discover what truly matters. The same crisis that could have destroyed someone becomes the very foundation of their resilience. But here's the mind-bending part. According to quantum Stoicism, the crisis and the opportunity are actually the same thing, viewed from different dimensional perspectives. Einstein would have loved this. It's relativity applied to human experience. Let's see some real-world examples of this engine in action. Thomas Edison's laboratory burns down, destroying millions of dollars worth of work. Does he despair? No, he tells his son, "Go get your mother. She'll never see a fire like this again." The next morning, he's making plans to rebuild better than before. The crisis transformation engine had converted destruction into creative opportunity. But how can you build your own version of this device? Let's bring this cosmic wisdom back down to earth, or rather, up to your level. Here's your personal crisis transformation protocol, designed by ancient philosophers but perfectly compatible with modern life. Step 1. Activate perception mode. When crisis strikes, resist the biological urge to panic. Instead, ask yourself, what if this is exactly what I need right now? Not because everything happens for a reason, that's not Stoicism, that's fantasy, but because you have the power to extract value from any situation. Step 2. Engage the control scanner. Rapidly categorize every aspect of your crisis into 2 lists, controllable and uncontrollable. Your job? Ignore list 2 completely. Pour all your energy into list 1. This isn't just practical advice, it's literally how you reprogram your brain to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Step 3. Launch the virtue protocols. Here's where the magic happens. Ask yourself, how can this crisis help me practice wisdom? How can it develop my courage? What opportunities for justice does it present? How can it teach me better self-discipline? Let me show you this in action with a modern example. Sarah loses her dream job during an economic downturn. Traditional thinking says, disaster? Stoic thinking activates the 3-step protocol. Perception. This could be the push I needed to start that business I've been dreaming about. Control. I can't control the job market, but I can control my response, my learning, and my next steps. Virtue. This challenges me to be courageous, to develop wisdom about what I really want, and to practice patience and persistence. 6 months later, Sarah's business is thriving. The crisis wasn't a detour from her path, it was the path. Chapter 5, Operating Manual for Modern Crisis Navigation. Chapter 6, The Paradox of Antifragility. Back aboard our philosophical space station, we discover something remarkable in the biolabs. The crew members who've been practicing Stoic principles aren't just surviving the harsh conditions of space. They're actually getting stronger because of them. This phenomenon has a name: antifragility. Unlike fragile things that break under stress, or robust things that resist stress, antifragile systems actually improve when stressed. They don't just bounce back, they bounce forward. The ancient Stoics discovered this principle 2,000 years before modern science gave it a name. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." But he might as well have been describing the molecular structure of antifragile systems. Think about it. Your immune system becomes stronger after fighting infections. Your muscles grow stronger after being broken down by exercise. Your mind becomes more resilient after working through challenges. The Stoics realized that human character follows the same pattern. It becomes anti-fragile through deliberate practice with difficulties. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. The mind that pursues the good, whether it succeeds or fails, is honored by the very pursuit. In other words, the attempt to handle crisis with virtue makes you stronger, regardless of the outcome. But here's the cosmic joke. Once you become truly anti-fragile through Stoic practice, you start hoping for challenges. Not because you enjoy suffering, that would be masochism, but because you know that each challenge is a free upgrade to your character's operating system. Chapter 7, The Obstacle as the Way. Let's zoom out to the edge of our galaxy, where we can see the bigger picture. From this cosmic perspective, something beautiful becomes clear. Every great achievement in human history was born from someone treating an obstacle as a pathway rather than a roadblock. The Wright brothers didn't see gravity as their enemy. They saw it as a challenge to overcome, which led to flight. Marie Curie didn't see the scientific establishment's rejection of women as a dead end. She saw it as motivation to prove them wrong, which led to groundbreaking discoveries about radioactivity. This is the Stoic superpower, the ability to see the hidden doorway in every wall. But it's not magical thinking. It's practical wisdom based on a fundamental truth about reality. Here's that truth. Obstacles are not separate from your path. They are your path. The universe isn't conspiring against you by sending challenges. It's conspiring with you by providing exactly the resistance you need to grow stronger. Think of it like this. A river doesn't see a mountain as an obstacle. It doesn't give up and flow backward. Instead, it finds a way around, through, or over the mountain. And in doing so, it carves out one of the most beautiful features on Earth, a canyon. Your life challenges are your personal mountains. You can waste energy cursing their existence, or you can become the river that transforms them into something beautiful. That's not poetry, that's physics applied to human experience. Let's bring our spaceship back to Earth and dock it in your everyday life. How do you actually apply this crisis as opportunity philosophy when you're dealing with real problems like job loss, relationship conflicts, health issues, or financial stress? First, let's address the elephant in the room. This doesn't mean pretending problems aren't real or serious. Stoicism isn't toxic positivity in ancient clothing. When Marcus Aurelius wrote about accepting obstacles, he was literally dealing with plagues, wars, and political upheaval. These weren't minor inconveniences. The Stoic approach is brutally realistic. Bad things happen. People you love will disappoint you. Markets will crash. Health will fail. The question isn't whether these things will happen, it's how you'll respond when they do. Here's your crisis response toolkit. When something goes wrong, give yourself exactly 60 seconds to feel the full emotional impact. Anger, fear, disappointment, let it wash over you completely. This isn't weakness, it's honesty. Even Stoics acknowledged that initial emotional reactions are natural and uncontrollable. After those 60 seconds, activate your rational mind. Ask 3 questions. What can I learn from this? What opportunities might this create? And how can I use this to practice virtue? Notice that none of these questions require you to be happy about the crisis. They just require you to be useful in your response to it. Let's test this with a real scenario. You get a medical diagnosis that changes everything. The 60-second emotional response might include fear, anger, or grief, all completely valid. But then the Stoic questions kick in. What can I learn about what truly matters in life? What opportunities does this create to strengthen relationships or pursue meaningful goals? How can I practice courage, wisdom, and compassion through this experience? These questions don't eliminate the difficulty, but they transform you from a victim of circumstances into an active participant in your own story. Chapter 8. Practical Applications for the Modern World. Chapter 9. The Compound Effect of Crisis Mastery. Here's where the story gets really exciting. Back on our space station, the long-term monitoring systems reveal something remarkable about crew members who consistently apply Stoic principles to challenges. They don't just handle individual crises better, they develop what we might call crisis immunity. Each successfully navigated challenge builds their confidence and competence for the next one. It's like compound interest, but for character development. Think about the mathematics of this. If you improve your crisis response by just 1% each time you face a challenge, and you face significant challenges roughly once a month, by the end of a year, you're not just 12% better at handling difficulties. Due to the compound effect, you're exponentially more resilient. But the benefits don't stop at personal resilience. People who consistently transform obstacles into opportunities develop a gravitational pull for success. They become the people others turn to in crisis. They get promoted because they don't panic under pressure. They build stronger relationships because they bring solutions instead of complaints. The ancient Stoics understood this compound effect. That's why Marcus Aurelius spent time each morning preparing mentally for the day's potential challenges, and each evening reflecting on how he had handled the ones he encountered. He was deliberately building his crisis response muscles. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics knew intuitively. Each time you consciously choose a constructive response to adversity, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're building new neural pathways that make positive responses more automatic and negative responses less likely. This means that crisis mastery isn't just a philosophy. It's a neurological transformation that makes you fundamentally different from who you were before. Chapter 10. Your Personal Mission Control. As our journey through the cosmos of Stoic wisdom comes to an end, it's time to establish your own personal mission control center. This isn't just metaphorical. I want you to literally create a system for managing crises as opportunities. Set up what I call your Stoic dashboard. This could be a note on your phone, a section in your journal, or even a literal dashboard on your computer. It should have 3 sections corresponding to our 3 pillars. Section 1. Perception check. When crisis hits, write down 3 alternative ways to view the situation. At least one of these must be potentially positive or growth-oriented. This isn't about forced optimism, it's about expanding your perspective beyond the obvious interpretation. Section 2. Control audit. Create 2 columns, what I can control and what I cannot control. Be ruthlessly honest. Then commit to spending 100% of your energy on column 1 and 0% on column 2. Section 3. Virtue activation. For each crisis, identify specific ways to practice the 4 cardinal virtues. How can the situation help you develop wisdom, justice, courage, or temperance? Make these concrete and actionable, not abstract ideals. But here's the most important part. Use your dashboard not just during major crises, but for daily minor frustrations. Traffic jams, difficult colleagues, technology failures. These are your training grounds. Master the small stuff, and you'll be ready when life sends bigger challenges. Remember, you're not trying to become unfeeling or detached from life. You're training yourself to be more skillful in your responses, more creative in finding solutions, and more resilient in the face of uncertainty. As we power down our philosophical space station and prepare for re-entry into your daily life, let's remember the core truth we've discovered. Every crisis is simultaneously a breakdown and a breakthrough, depending on how you choose to engage with it. The Stoics weren't superhuman. Marcus Aurelius struggled with difficult people and political pressures. Epictetus faced the trauma of slavery. Seneca dealt with financial stress and political exile. What made them remarkable wasn't that they avoided problems. is that they developed an extraordinary ability to extract value from whatever problems they encountered. This same ability is available to you, not because you'll magically stop encountering difficulties, but because you can learn to see those difficulties as raw materials for building something stronger, wiser, and more beautiful. The next time life hits you with an unexpected challenge, and it will, remember our journey to the stars. Remember that somewhere in the cosmos, Marcus Aurelius is nodding approvingly as you ask, "How can I use this?" instead of "Why me?" The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your crisis is your opportunity, disguised as your crisis. Welcome to the Stoic way of navigating the stars. Your next adventure awaits, and now you're ready for whatever the universe sends your way. Safe travels, Space Cadet. The cosmos is counting on you.